Good morrow, my magnificent godlings. Happy spring. It's not that early here. It's 11:25. I really should have finished my coffee long ago. I'm having an extra espresso, and I've been burning the candle at both ends, and I've quit Percocet entirely as of 23 days ago. And I'm not sleeping terribly well because withdrawals will do that to you. Even though otherwise I feel pretty good, I am tired. And it's been a while since I posted to you. I haven't prepared anything formal today. But I wanted to let you know what was going on and to tell you a few things that have occurred to me of late that I should pass on to you. I have been grieving, and also in my own way. And grieving for me looks like writing mostly, and editing. So I finished my memoir, which is called The Fiddler's Laughing Bride. It's available because it is metafiction, as we call it. It is available in both the fiction and nonfiction sections of our store at crackedpotpublishing.com. There are 2 more books in the literary, erotic, spiritual, transformational series that starts with the Vampire Grail Affairs and becomes the Portals Across the Realms series, which will comprise 3 books eventually. I am working on the finishing details on the first 2, which are called Maker, and then its sequel, Leviathan. The 3rd one, Ender, I'm hoping to get done next year. So that's what I've been doing. Some people, I understand it, allow grief to destroy their world entirely. Those who climb out of that eventually live in tribute, and that's pretty much what I do. But one of the tributes I pay is that I make another world, and that's the work on the metafiction and fiction series. So those will be up soon too. There has been another miracle. Not only have I been able to stop Percocet with very little withdrawal symptoms other than difficulty sleeping and some what I call refractory pain. It's pain that's simply your nerve endings asking for the opioids that they're used to, but it's not real. Just allow it to be there and ignore it. It generally goes away, but it does keep me awake at night. So, but the thing is, and it'll continue to do that for another couple of weeks, make it difficult for me to sleep. But in general, I'm having, other than that, those 2 symptoms, maybe a little ringing in my ears, I'm not having any problem at all. So that was a major miracle because I had very difficult time withdrawing from that drug before and could only taper very slowly, like 1.25 milligrams over 6 weeks. And I was able to stop 17.25 milligrams in 4 months. And I stopped altogether the last of it 23 days ago. So I'm really happy about that. Then there's been another amazing miracle. And that miracle is I have battled, ever since my near-death experience, I have battled seizures several times a day. They were non-convulsive, focal lobe partial seizures that didn't affect the consciousness centers of the brain. I could actually observe and know when the seizures were happening. But they wore me out a lot because I had so many of them every day. And I discovered something that made them stop, and it has no side effects. The reason I had not been taking anything before, I'd tried 5 different anti-seizure drugs, and none of them made any difference to the seizures, and they all had terrible side effects. So I had been using nothing but medical cannabis to control them, and now they are virtually stopped. And that gives me a lot more energy, which I've been putting toward the writing and editing process on all these books. If you want to know how I came to my spiritual crossroads where I am now, I highly recommend you read The Fiddler's Laughing Bride. It will give you insights also into the fiction series and many of the lessons that I'm trying to communicate to you from the Daemon Michael regarding the nature of what we are and the latent abilities within us that we can all tap. And you can get that through the fiction series as well. In fact, the reason it's called metafiction is because my life intertwines with the stories in that world and the characters and the stories of that other world, which I call Terra. They have affected my life radically. In fact, the way the Daemon Michael shows it to me, there's a circuitous nature to the whole process. My love for the characters, particularly one, the main hero of the fiction series, Michael Stewart, my love for him became transformational to that character. And that character then became an aspect of the Daemon Michael. So you'll have to read it to enjoy it. In any case, it's a circuitous relationship. One observes like yin-yang, like the yin-yang, one observes the other, creating the experience of each and both. So that's really fantastic news. I'm not seizing anymore all the time, so I have a lot more brain energy, and I'm just not as tired, and my consciousness is not as foggy as it was before. It's much richer that way. It's also had a variety of other benefits to my health. So overall, the medication is methylene blue. It's over the counter. That's methylene, METHYLENE, blue, BLUE. I learned about it through Chase Hughes on YouTube, who has temporal lobe epilepsy, and it stopped his seizures. Well, it stopped mine too. Ta-da! And I take a very low dosage, only 1.5 milligrams each day in the morning. So, really happy about that. Now, there was something else I was going to tell you. Let's see, what is that? It'll come to me. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about is your food supply. If you live in the United States in particular, you cannot trust the food supply. You have to be very selective about what you buy and from whom you buy it to put into your body these days. Monsanto and those who create all sorts of chemistry that's toxic to us, glyphosate being one of them, is not being regulated. This is a product that's not even allowed to be used in Europe because it is stored in the actual tissue of the plant. It can't be washed off, and it is extremely bad for your body. I really recommend, as far as your vegetables go, that you put in a small garden. You can even do it in your house with a lighted shelving unit and grow basic vegetables that you love inside year-round. Highly recommend you doing that. That's one of the things I've been busy doing, although I'm not very good at vegetable gardening yet, but I'm working on it. I'm getting there. So please prepare yourselves, because there's a very good likelihood, not just because of the chemistry and you can't trust what's on your food anymore in the stores. I want all of the team to be healthy, and Michael has prompted me to give you this nudge. Because we have a super El Nino this year, it makes the food supply, which inflation is already making difficult to purchase, and it's not safe for you anymore because of the chemicals being put on it, and God knows what they're adding to your food. Michael is advising us all to put in small gardens, and even inside for over the winter. Please do that. Make yourself more food secure, because with the super El Nino that we have coming, there's going to be drought, there's going to be floods, there's going to be a very good chance of crop failure. So food will be scarce, and you can't trust the food that's out there already. So please, people, take this upon yourselves. Mind what you're putting in your body, and do that by taking stewardship over the vegetables that you eat. Personally, I live now where there's a lot of wildlife and hunters, and I can trade with them to get wild meat, and I recommend you do that too if you can. I do not trust anything they're feeding us these days. Please, if you reckon yourself team in this message, my messages are normally resonating with you, please, we need to remain healthy by taking control of what we are eating. Just taking stewardship of that. Now there was something, okay, thank you. The way you pray. All right. First of all, I want you to understand God never says no. And what you are generally praying to is a venue. It is a living, conscious environment created as an infolding of frequencies upon themselves in which to brood consciousnesses, okay? Individuations, people, if you want to call them that, but it's every living thing. It is that venue is what you're praying to when you're asking, please, 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 okay? And what you're doing when you pray in such a way, you're saying, I don't have, I don't have, I don't have, I don't have. And the venue merely reflects back to you what you're telling it, okay? So that's why your labeling and your self-talk are so drastically important, all right? Please realize that what you have to do is change first by observing, as the observer, as consciousness itself, observe what the mind is unconsciously and the emotions are unconsciously saying to yourself what you're operating under, and that is what you're telling the venue, and the venue reflects it back to you. So every time you're striving after something, you're actually kind of pushing it away. That's an interesting concept, thanks. It's kind of like hazing an animal. You have to know what species you're working with and what kind of intelligence you're working with. The venue that you're praying to and begging things from is not God. It's not God. It is kind of a workshop of God. It is a project of God. It is a piece of God, but it is not God. You are God. You, every one of us, we are all godlings. We are little extensions of God. And we are here to learn by having the venue witness it back to us what we are projecting, what we are creating. So you have to put your self-talk by your will into the type of thoughts that you want reflected from the venue. I am abundant. Mind how you say. Don't say I am sick. Don't say I am tired. Don't say that. If you must say that you need to rest, okay, or that the body's tired, what I do, and I do it actually spontaneously, have for years now, when the body is tired, I refer to myself in the third person. She's tired, because I'm speaking about the body. She, the body, is tired. She needs to rest. She needs to eat. Okay? I never casually say I am anything. I'm very careful about what I say I am. I am creative, and I am wealthy, and I am abundant, and I am capable. All right? These are the things you say to yourself to get the venue to reflect that back to you. God never says no. God, in fact, your daemon never says no, and all of us have one. The daemon's preference is to accelerate into your experience in the venue the things that you believe you want, so that you have an opportunity to quickly learn that you didn't want them after all. So the daemon says yes and accelerates it, just like the venue accelerates into expression, reflecting back what you are putting out. All right? So keep that in mind, because it's important to have an orientation that's correct. If you think that the world is outside of you, you're going to have a different relationship with it than if you realize that all of that's out there, we are collectively and individually projecting. We are creating it on the fly with the things we say to ourselves, the judgments we make, the labels we assign. That's important. Call it good, call it bad. You're going to experience what you call it. We, as godlings, generally believing the world is outside of us when it's really a reflection of what's inside of us. We, with our judgments and our labels, create the experience that we have, and then we disempower ourselves by blaming the world we created for making us unhappy. Right? Now, from the other side of eternity, that's the cosmic jest, and it's very, very funny. From this side, it's good to know, and you can be amused by it eventually. I certainly am. But it's still frustrating to most people. So please realize that, and instead of begging the venue, which is merely reflecting what you are putting out, instead of that, realize and begin observing the self-talk and the BeLIEves that you are saying to yourself in your emotions, often hiding them in your emotions rather than speaking them aloud, because the moment you speak them aloud, you see how ridiculous they are. Okay, so this is the point of observing the self-talk hidden in your emotions. We call this the practice. Put it into words, the emotions, go into them. The moment you're unhappy, suffering in any way, realize that you have lost your lucidity and fallen into identification with a character you but play in the dream of this world. Observe that, being lucid in that awareness. You can then say, what am I saying to myself in these suffering emotions? Put it carefully into words, and you will generally see automatically that it is not true. It's not true. And even if there's a scrap of truth to it, it is not serving you. And all the energy you're spending in that, in giving your belief and faith in that self-talk, will then come back to you, and the emotion, the discomfort, just dissipates. It just, because it got all of its power over your experience from your belief in it, from your endorsing it, okay? So the moment you withdraw your endorsement, two things happen. The suffering stops, and you become more lucid. You have an instant of growing power over your self-talk and your experiences, and you begin to wield the will of your godly estate using your self-talk consciously to decide what you want the venue to reflect back to you. Do not disempower yourself by the power in your vow. That is what we do. We disavow our power by the power of our vow. We say the venue is doing things to us when it's actually doing something for us, reflecting so that we can see what we're doing. And it's doing everything it's doing through us because it's the lens of our beliefs, self-talk, BeLIEve's hidden in our emotions, so that we don't have to confront that they are not true. So don't allow anything to hide out in suffering emotions. Use the emotions to make you lucid. When you're a lucid dreamer, certain things cause you to become lucid. They're programmed into your mind over time, into your perceptions, and you become aware when they happen. For instance, for me, it's flying or running away. Anything like that causes me to realize, oh, I'm sleeping, I'm dreaming. Okay, I can do anything I want here. Same thing here. Use suffering as your token to make you lucid in the dream of the world. This is how you recreate, reattain your lucidity over and over and over again until it sticks and you begin to laugh every time you suffer, because you catch yourself and it kind of tickles. It tickles every time you go free of a mistaken, it does for me, of a mistaken identification. All right, you laugh. It's like, I think of it as birds going free out of their cages. For me, I've had birds all my life that I took care of, and whenever I saw a bird escape the cage, I felt at once joy for the bird and fear for the bird. Fear because it didn't belong in that environment and some other bird would prey upon it, and I wanted to get it back into its safe habitat, but joy for the bird in its liberation. So you will get to where every time you are suffering, you observe yourself doing it to yourself, and that cage door flies open and out you go, liberated, laughing. Okay, I see I was doing it to myself again. Okay, so God always says yes to you. What your job is to send a coherent message to the venue. Coherent message of what you want the venue to reflect back to you. Do you want the venue to reflect back to you your empowerment over your self-talk? You want the venue to reflect back to you your inherent experience of what you inherently are, a godling. You are consciousness itself, observing the mind attacking your peace. And right now, everybody's mind is attacking their peace. Use it. Use everything that makes you suffer to make you more lucid. In a month, I lost one of my favorite cats. Slept in the bed with me every night. Precious had been my girl for 17 years. Just a few days after that, I lost one of my favorite fish. I love all my fish, but she was particularly plucky. 1 month to the day after I lost my cat, Patches, I lost the bird, the parrotlet, who has been my companion for 18 years, Tattoo Chicken Man. And I wept hard over that bird because it was very sudden. And it just surprised me. I wept over Patches too, but she took like a week to die. She had been in organ failure or kidney failure a while. I'd been just nursing her along. So I was prepared for her, but Chicken Man was in fact pleasuring himself on his favorite perch when he dropped over dead. So he was happy, but I was shocked and deeply grieved. And what I do with grief is generally And this is not for everybody. Please don't take this as me judging how other people grieve. This is how I grieve. I perceive the loss. I weep over it. Usually not more than an hour or so. And then I resolve to continue building the alternate venues that I write about, where everyone and every animal I have ever loved is deathless and persists in their glory. And when I leave here, that's where I'm going. So how I handle grief, I like to say some people allow grief to destroy their world. Others use grief to build another, where everyone they love persists forever, happily. For me, when I grieve a few minutes, I realize I'm acting like a child who has been deprived of their favorite toy. I'm pitching a little tantrum. I realize, observing it, that it is not changing anything except for my body chemistry. It's making me weak. It's making me feel physically unwell. It's not helping. And then I live in tribute to the love I feel for everyone I've ever loved, and I work on putting myself energetically and by the focus of my attention where they are. Okay? So someone asked me in a letter recently, or in a comment on a video I did, another guest appearance with Lori Majka channel, and an individual asked about getting back into a dream, and I've been practicing this since I was young. When you waken from a dream that you didn't really want to waken from, how do you get back into it? You focus all of your attention on the moment in that dream that you can recall most clearly, and the motivations that you were under in that dream, what you were doing. You just focus your attention on it, and you tunnel with your will and your focused attention back into it. It is a matter of focusing your attention. That's how I got back in the dream of the world. We never go anywhere. Our attention shifts, and we have this dream experience of traveling through space-time to get somewhere normally, okay? But I bilocate, not consciously by my will. It just happens, particularly if I'm expecting to die or be hurt. I'm out of the body. It's instantaneous. So attention is what is moving, because the attention goes, this is not me. Your body is not you. We are a soup of consciousness here. And all it takes to get from point A to point B in your perspective and your experience is a shift in your attention. You summon the image from the angle at which you would prefer to be observing it rather than in your body. You do the same thing when you're going back into dreams. You do the same thing when you are trying to tunnel in, like you tunnel into a dream with your attention. You're tunneling into an alternate dream of your life, an alternate time stream, by putting your attention focused on the soul you want to experience yourself being in that alternate time stream. This is what you want the venue to reflect back to you. So you become, by focusing your attention and what you say to yourself and the judgments you make and the perspectives you allow yourself to take, you become the version of yourself that lives the life that you want to be living. This is how you get the venue to reflect it back to you. I'm 67 years old. Okay? One would expect me to be looking and acting like a 67-year-old. Yes, I'm aging, but comparatively slowly. The body is evincing the expectations of the venue. Everyone in the venue affects how the venue affects us, because I'm trained from birth, just as you all are, to expect the body to change in certain ways. On the other hand, I have always not fought that, but just simply declined to participate. I just didn't ever really believe that was true. I saw no reason why the body should wear out. Just didn't see it. It made no sense to me. I used to sit around thinking as a child, well, why would a piece of lead from a gunshot inside the body stop the whole body from working? Well, there's ways that it can happen, but I'm just bringing up the reason why. It's our expectations. The collective expectations are what we teach each other and what the venue has a tendency to reflect back. But my personal experience is that none of that should actually apply. And because I feel that and believe that, and that is what I expect, my experience has been a combination of my expectation that there's no reason the body should age, and and everybody else's expectation that it should. And what I get from those two colliding influences of expectation is a body that ages more slowly, a mind that doesn't appear to be aging at all as far as getting tired or confused. In fact, little miracles happen that allow me to get off Percocet without huge withdrawals. Another miracle happens that allows me to conquer these seizures that have been keeping me down all my life. So understand the way it's working. There is no world out there. God always says yes. Your daemon says yes. You have to create a coherent, steady, projected expectation of what you are and what should be based on that, in order to create the identity that you want, that has the life that you want. So you are tunneling with your attention into that dream of your life by placing your attention on what you want that image to look like, and you embody it, all right? You embody this. I came back and sat on this perspective for 45 years until I realized, going through Lexapro withdrawals, that if I died from it, and I was sure I would, that if I died from it, that I would have gone through all that suffering for nothing. All the suffering I went through for 45 years would have been for nothing if I did not deliver the message now. And so I began to deliver the message. And the more I delivered the message, the more my body was just lit up with chi flows, and the stronger and the more energetic and the more certain of a beautiful outcome I have become. Because that's where I'm putting my attention. I hope you're getting how this works. Now, if you need to reach me, please reach out to me through my store, crackpotpublishing.com. And if you're interested in how I came to this perspective, my memoir is there. It tells about the major spiritual turning points and the major events. So it skips through time at turning points, because like any life, in 67 years, there's a whole lot of nothing. But in between, there are these pivot points. And I believe that would be helpful perspective for you. We love you all. Thank you so much for being here. Sorry I've been away so long. I've been grieving. I've been working. I've been writing. I've been putting my attention on creating the world where everyone we love is eternal. And if you read my work, you will know, you will learn how to put yourself there. So when you leave here, you won't have to come back to this world, because there's a better one already created for you, along with helpful books and audio files to help you understand how to tunnel not only back into a dream you were enjoying, but into a dream world you will enjoy more. Thanks again for being here. Please like and subscribe and share this video with someone who needs these insights, and take control of your food. Go out there and change the world by being your magnanimous, magnificent, godling, lucid self. And together, I can't do it alone. Together, we will affect the whole venue and put out that little